What's up guys? I have talked in one of our past videos about the problem with smartwatches, namely that they are not really smart. Most smartwatches are actually fitness watches. To be honest, I have also called fitness watches smartwatches many times, because it's easier to understand. However, in this video we will talk about a real smartwatch, because it has Android operating system with Google Play Store and many Android apps, a SIM card slot with 4G network support, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and GPS, and even 16 gigs of built-in memory. In other words, it is a small smartphone that you can wear on your hand. You know, we have already tested an Android smartwatch from Zeblaze a couple of months ago, but the new Zeblaze Thor SQ looks very different because of the square display and rugged design. Let's do a full review of it. You know, looking at the box and design of this smartwatch, I would think it is a rugged watch, but this is not so clear-cut. We will come back to the rugged design a little later. On the back of the box we can see the main features of the smartwatch, such as Ultra HD AMOLED display, 4G standalone calling with Wi-Fi connectivity, built-in GPS and GLONASS, offline music and built-in 16 gigs memory, Android OS and support for Google Play. After opening the box, we can see a user manual, magnetic charging cable, strap, and watch. There is also a screen protector under the watch. That's all we get in the package. As you can see, the strap is detachable. Let's put it on. By the way, the strap is made of fluoroelastomer, or in other words, synthetic rubber. The clasp is also plastic. Zeblaze Thor SQ is available only in black color, so the strap and watch are black. Only the bezel around the dial is gray, because it is made of metal. The two buttons and SIM card slot on the sides are also metal. There is microphone hole next to the SIM card slot, while a speaker is located below the screen. The smartwatch also has a front-facing camera above the screen. That's very interesting, and we will definitely check it out. On the back of the watch there are charging contacts and health tracking sensors. So you know, Zeblaze Thor SQ really looks like a rugged watch, but I couldn't find any information about protection standards on the official website. I am not even sure if the watch is water resistant, since the screen protector comes in the package. I think the display itself doesn't have any protection. You should be careful with this watch. By the way, I forgot to tell you about the size and weight of the new Zeblaze smartwatch. Its dimensions are 59.5 by 47.6 by 15.4 mm. The weight is 50 grams without the strap and 67 grams with the strap. So Zeblaze Thor SQ is massive but pretty lightweight smartwatch. You know, the watch is big because of the large display. It has a diagonal of 2.13 inches, 410 by 502 pixels resolution, 391 ppi and up to 1000 nit brightness. In addition, it is an AMOLED panel, but I didn't find the always-on display on the watch. This is very strange, because even the ultra-budget Zeblaze fitness watches have always-on display. However, the previous Zeblaze smartwatch on Android OS also didn't have always-on display mode. In any case, Zeblaze Thor SQ has a good display that is comfortable to use both indoors and outdoors. By the way, since the screen has a square shape, I think it should be convenient to use most functions of the watch, such as reading and sending messages, watching YouTube and so on. Let's check it out. The new Zeblaze smartwatch runs on Android 8.1 operating system. It also has 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of internal memory, so it is really like a small smartphone. The watch even has a quick settings menu by swiping down on the main watch face. Here we can read new notifications and use basic functions such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Do Not Disturb mode, Battery Saver mode, Airplane mode, GPS and volume. There is also a slider here to adjust the screen brightness. However, the watch doesn't support automatic screen brightness adjustment. If you swipe left or up from the main watch face, nothing happens. Swipe to the left to open the application menu on the watch. Here we have a phone, settings, browser, sound recorder, calendar, contacts, albums, files, music, stopwatch, maps, heart rate, clock, blood oxygen, flashlight, calculator, health monitor, one-click cleanup, video player, style settings, dial market, walk, camera, Play Store, messages, face unlock, and apps market. So there are many apps on the smartwatch, and you can even install more from Google Play Store. However, first, you need to connect to Wi-Fi network. Let's do this. You just need to go to the Wi-Fi menu, select your network, and enter a password from it. It is exactly the same as on any other Android device. However, I noticed that the keyboard is adapted for the smartwatches. It is good that the keys are large, but it does take some time to get used to. Now the watch is connected to Wi-Fi. You also need to sign in to your Google account to install apps from the Play Store. By the way, there is no YouTube on the smartwatch. Let's try to install it. Yes, you can install YouTube from the Google Play Store. Of course, you are unlikely to watch many videos on the smartwatch because it is not convenient. The display is too small for that. Since the MV engine Pro 2.0 is an all-terrain electric bike, it has hydraulic disc brakes. You know, mechanical brakes are enough for a city electric bike. However, you can listen to a podcast on YouTube or some music. Let's check out some more functions of Zeblaze Thor SQ. I'm interested to see Google Maps on the smartwatch. It has a built-in GPS, so you can track your location and even plot routes. It's a great feature for a smartwatch, but I think it is not very convenient because of the small display. I think the built-in GPS is more useful for sports apps like Strava. You can really install Strava on Zeblaze Thor SQ and start workout modes like running, walking, cycling, etc. Your movement is tracked via GPS satellites, so you can see your distance walked, speed, and other information. It is all the same as on the mobile device. You know, there is a music player on the watch, so you can upload music to the local memory and listen it. However, it is 2024 and everyone is listening to streaming music like Spotify. Let's try to install it on the Zeblaze Thor SQ. Yes, Spotify can also be installed on the watch, and the app even works. Amazing! One of the main features of the new Zeblaze smartwatch is the built-in camera. It has 2 megapixels resolution. You can open the camera app on your watch and take a photo or a video. You know, the camera quality is far from the camera of the most budget smartphones, but it is still good to have it. By the way, I am wondering if I can video call someone via Telegram or other messengers. Let's give it a try. First of all, Telegram installed on the watch and all my chats synchronized. That's very good. Now I can write and read messages. But I'm more interested in the calls. First, let's try audio calls. Yeah, it works. As for video calls, no problem with that either. Great. You know, we just made a Wi-Fi call, but Zeblaze Thor SQ also has a SIM card slot, so you can insert a SIM card and use a mobile network. The smartwatch supports 4G LTE networks. Now you can receive and make phone calls with your smartwatch. Here is a little tip for you. Connect the Bluetooth earbuds to the watch and make calls in comfort. By the way, I forgot to mention that you can also listen to music via Bluetooth earbuds connected to the watch. Zeblaze Thor SQ also has a settings menu. It is identical to other Android devices, and here you can set up Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, display, sound, audio profile, storage, apps and notifications, device security, software upgrade, location, and others. A very important point about Zeblaze Thor SQ is the battery. The smartwatch is equipped with a 950 mAh battery, and it is much less than most smartphones. However, the manufacturer claims up to 84 hours of battery life under normal use. That is about 3.5 days, even if it runs for 2 days. That's very good for Android smartwatch. By the way, it only takes 45 minutes to fully charge the battery. So let's summarize. Zeblaze Thor SQ looks like a sturdy rugged smartwatch, but I am not sure if it even has water protection, not to mention shock and drop protection. On the other hand, it is a complete replacement for your smartphone. The watch has a good display, Android OS with many apps, SIM card slot, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS support. I think you can do everything on this smartwatch that you do on your smartphone. If you don't believe me, write in the comments below what I should do on the watch, and I will check it for you. Thank you for watching. See you soon!